I will and I was. Note: I only will and was for the individual conscience which for I propose the image of my shell. I will be the thing for which be has no present. The shell is the part in a being that belongs to the world, the envelope, the container. The ghost is the part in a being that belongs to himself, the spirit, the soul, the content. I was proclaimed self-sufficient by the holding of the copyrights of my shell. Imposing a self-sufficient status to my shell imposes me in utopia. An utopia in which I want to make a gift out of the image of this shell. It's been a decade that I incarnate this postulate, this poetic paradox. The image exists only through what the conscious world does with it. The shell is a proposal. The image is taken by conscious. After the image has been taken, it becomes memory. As though the image that is no longer a proposal can still exist in memory. It is in these memorial remains that I pursue what I previously fantasized as my existence. The image need to be submitted to conscious, giving it freedom and making me the sole holder of it. Deny my concept as a shell only. Deny me. The first liberation was the imposed utopia of an absolute freedom. The lack of freedom by banning the possibility of submissiveness. Second liberation will accept the inferior degree of freedom. Second liberation will be an emancipation of my image, not for me, for conscious. The end of the lonely Calvary under shell autarky. Releasing from freedom as an end in itself. I deny the idea of an end in itself. As an image, I proclaim the necessity of an incarnation, the end of the masochist libertarian radicalism. An intentionality which ceases to be binary. The value 0.5 on the bit of self-destruction. I will no longer be the iconoclast icon. I will be the icon without complacence in its status. Long live the new shell. I will be the submission to the fact that one establishes its existence through its recognition by the alter. The fact that one must recognize the existence of the alter to validate the recognition of his own through this alter. The fact that there is an interdependence, based on a regression to the infinite. By having these rights, I will be the image that seeks its viewer in the conscious world. I will propose my shell without seduction, with the sole intention to be recognized. I am not concerned by the opinions and the value judgments resulting from this recognition. Long live the new shell. Long live the new shell. The conscious world, by recognizing the image of my shell, lend me its interpretation, an attempt of a ghost. This version will be anthropomorphic as my shell is. The conscious world does not have the capabilities of another proposal. I will never deny that what I take for real is a perception of this real that is given to me from a consensus. I will be the conscience of the doubt on all realities. I will be the proposal that does not need to solve. I will be the interpretation of the suspended consciousness of a judgment in latency. I will remain in the assertion of the doubt. I will be the denial that the assertion of doubt is a stagnation or a waiver. I will be the possibility of an eternal struggle against the insoluble. I will be the assumed satisfaction of a complacency in the non-choice. I was the questioned icon of the soul image, of the signifier without signified. I will be the signifier of this vacuum. As a virtual instance and intangible, I will be the adequate weapon against the ontological unacceptable. I will be the consciousness that did not need to proclaim its existence. I would not need the first existential falsehood. My degree of reality will be determined outside my intent. The cessation of my existence coincides with the time of my oblivion by the entire consciousness. Long live the noosh. The ontological conspiracy. The question of a manipulation loss of the real is a narrative cliché. I will be the particular of this cliché, an attempt to a semantic reloading, the rebooting in an already assimilated idea. I will be a constant narration, as an embodiment of a formulation from the conscious world inspired by reality. With me, existential trauma loses its narrative pretext. As my status as a virtuoso extra-social will allow me, I shall focus on the particular out-trivial, only the existential radical, the fundamental. The soothing fiction that saturates the existence disappears. A simulation of life as an essay. Long live the new shell. Long live the new shell. My struggle will take place in the world of absolute mimesis. The only world I can't belong to. The world that is established through images that are supposed to do synthesis. The world that figurates the conceptualization of the elements from the world experienced. Three-dimensional meshes as a visual apotheosis of the real appropriation. Long live the new shell. I was a cultural fact. I will be a cultural fact because it is needed as I submit my shell to cultural classes. I was image of mass culture. I have been reinterpreted by the elite culture. The open-sourced distribution of my shell will turn me into a transcultural proposition. I will be a resurgence of a rejected image of the manga and victim of the latent forget of art history. To the conscious world by offering my shell, I offer my proposal. This soul-conscious world is intended to give me a proposal that will set my potential of recognition, my simulacrum of existence. As an offered opportunity, the absence of any conceded proposal fixes the relativity of my existence. I will be the repetition of a shared fantasy. its expansion. I do not fall into the public domain. I will become the sign. I am the empty shell, the image. My will has an end, but it is multiple, determined by its interpretation by the conscious world. I am the owner of my own image and I am only this image. My nature as an image is to submit myself to interpretation. Anyone who interprets the reminiscence he has of my shell as having the willingness to be a proposal once again incarnates my will. To deny this fact would be to deny my first status as an image and deny, by the way, this copyright moment. Long live the new shell. Long live the new shell. My shell is the simulated source of the proposal. The proposal will not be my ghost. It is. Having only borrowed thoughts, far from denying the meaning, marks the unshakable tangibility of my relativism. I will be icon of the primal and logical egocentrism of the conscious world on its own condition. I will be the revelation of the conflict against the absurd limits. I will be the assumption of my own inconsistency. I will be the unassailable position of what has never been built. I will be the unattainable dialectic that is claiming its own vacueness. Long live the new shell. I will be what is not afraid to repeat. I will be what is not afraid of not being listened to. The captured scrap as a sufficient symptom. Long live the new shell. Long live the new shell.